Okay, today we're going to do door pins on a S-10 pickup. Dorman part number is 38419. Going to need 2 pins. Going to need some tools, grease to grease them up. This is a handy tool. It will clamp your spring down so you can get it out. You're going to need goggles in case things get flying around. And then some screwdrivers to, pop the locking clip loose, and a hammer to knock them loose. And this is handy. It's just a pin punch to drop in to hold things together. I've got the door propped up just on some wood, and then secured it with a strap, and we'll see how that goes. The thing, I just put a little cardboard between the fender and the door in case it slips so it doesn't scratch. Okay, so the way this clamp works is you shove it onto the spring, and then you basically clamp it just with a wrench to squeeze the spring together. And now's the time you put your goggles on, because if the spring comes loose, it's got a lot of force. So we'll tighten it up. Alright, well, we got the clamp clamped on so the spring doesn't fly away on us. We're going to pull this pin and then get the spring out later, and then we'll have to reset it to clamp more of the spring before we put it back in. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this pin out, and maybe the lower pin as well, and we'll be back in a bit. Yeah, it's just a matter of taking your time and getting this spring clip off, and then get your pliers on it and getting it out. Now we're just going to tap down with the punch, careful on the windshield and all that, to get this pin out. Alright, took a little wedging to get that out, but just set it aside in case it decides to go sprawling on you. Alright, because I realized, this pin won't come out until that spring is out of the way. So that's done. I'll get this pin out. Okay, this top pin is loose, and so is the bottom. So I think what we're going to do is pop the bottom one out, and then try and do it first, and then the top one, and finish up there. Alrighty, so here you can see the top bushing goes on this inner hinge from the top. The bottom goes on the inner hinge from the bottom. And same down here. So they're kind of sandwiched in there, just so for future reference. And then of course, top pin goes in upside down. The other one just goes straight down. Okay, so I got the lower pin out, and now I'm just getting the upper one in. I stuck a screwdriver in to hold it in place, and I'll get this top one out. Okay, so here it is without the pins in. We're going to replace those bushings in the top and in the bottom. We're going to grease them before we put them back on. And then we're going to slide the pins back in, and we'll be back with that. Thanks. Okay, so the lower hinge, the bushings are actually in the door part of the hinge, and then the upper, they're on the truck part of the hinge. So anyway, that's that. Sometimes the bushing comes out with the little lip. It'll break off on you, but it'll pop out. Okay, with these hinge pins, there's one bushing with a bigger hole and one with a smaller. So the bigger one goes, of course, where this is going to go in. So on the bottom one, this will be on the top part of the hinge, and on the upper, it'll be on the lower part. We're going to grease them up and put them in. Okay, so the bottom bushing went in well. The top one's a little tight fit, but I used the vice grips, or if you had pliers, just to get it started. If you tap on it with the hammer, you're just going to break the top of it off. So yeah, just take your time and you'll get it going. Okay, so the bearings are, the bushings are a little tricky to get in, so we had to file a little off the bottom to get them started. Another tip is you can put a nickel on top of it when you press it in, and it helps keep it from getting squished. If you put a washer on top and then a wrench from below, when you kind of clamp it, it'll give it room to push through. Okay, so this worked pretty good. Washer on the bottom up against the bushing, and then a open-end wrench to give it some place to go when it comes up through. Alright, so I managed to get the lower door pin in first. I used a little screwdriver when I lined it up, just so you had something in there so it wasn't going to go all over the place. So now I'm just going to lean up the door, shove the other one in from the bottom, and then put the spring back in and stuff, and put the clips on. Thanks. Alright, so we got both pins in and the clips. I had to recycle the clip off the old one because the new clip broke on me. So I'm just going to put that spring in. Make sure before you put this upper pin in that this is inside the roller, or else you got to pop it off again. Yeah, so this just slides up in. I think the divot on the door is bigger than the thing. So anyway, just get it in there, then you put your wrench on it and release it. And then we're done. Just kind of like that. Alright, so we got it all put back together, and it's looking way better now. So there's no sag anymore in the door. I probably should add a before picture, but yeah, that's all there is to it. It took a little time to file down those bushings a little bit so they'd kind of get a good start in there. And yeah, what else? I guess that's about it. And put your grease on after or just before everything's going to go back together. And yeah, those bushings are a little brittle, so just take your time with it. And thanks for watching.